you're in this for the long haul. You're not going to get results in a week. You're not going to get results in a month. Okay. This is going to take a long time, but that's not a bad thing. And that shouldn't discourage you, right?
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our videos. If you'd like to support us some more, you can explore our homemade natural skincare products at purelytallow.com. Thank you so much for supporting my small business. Hey everybody, welcome to the Carnivore Revolution. I'm Serena, and my guest today is Logan Delgado. You guys may know him as Goody Beats from Instagram, and he is a very cool guy with little kids. Everybody in the family eats healthy. He has lost weight, maintained that, built muscle, and built a career basically on eating healthy. And I just think it's a very cool story, and I wanted you guys to hear about it. He is not 100% carnivore, but definitely very low carb in a healthy way. And we just want to hear from you today and talk about your story, Logan.
Yeah, thank you for having me. First off, yeah, I love doing podcasts. I love chatting with people and meeting people and sharing my story because it's always fun getting those messages from people like, hey, my story is very similar to yours and I was in a situation just like yourself. And it's always cool to hear other people's journeys. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it can really encourage other people to hear where people have come from, because if you're sitting at home and you have already failed your New Year's resolution at this point, because it is mid-January, you've already
Most
failed your New
people
Year's
have
resolution.
already too.
And you're thinking, I got to wait until Monday to start, or I got to wait until February 1st to start, or I might as well just give up until the beginning of next year, because there are people who do that. Like if you are already feeling like you can't do it, I know it's overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming if you have 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds or more to lose. You feel like it doesn't matter what you do, but it does.
Yeah.
And Logan's story is a really good example of that. So let's start there and just tell people where you come from, how this happened for you.
Yeah. So in my younger days, I was really active. Obviously, I'm from Texas, so you got to play football here in Texas. And so in high school, I was really active. Didn't obviously, like most kids, you don't really have to deal with things like that. You can get away with it a lot because you're active. But once, obviously, I got out of high school, went to college, that's when everything just started to go downhill because there's nobody telling you that you have to go work out. There's nobody making you, eat right or eat certain foods. It's just like you're on your own. You're an adult, so you can do whatever you want. You're almost a rebel, right? You stay out as late as you want. You can go get fast food, do whatever you want. And that's kind of the lifestyle that I lived after high school. And I did that for about a good 8 years. And by the time I was 26 years old, I went to the doctor and the doctor's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you are type 2 diabetic, you're borderline obese. Well, technically from the scale, the like height weight scale, I'm obese. I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I was just in horrible shape. And I was like, man, I'm 26 years old. Like, I'm pretty young. I should be in pretty top shape right now. And so that was a big wake up call right there. And then eventually I remember the day I just got a new job and I needed to go buy a uniform for this position. And I remember having to like buy like the pants that I would normally, that I used to think that I wore the size, definitely was not the size anymore. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I remember holding the pants up like, how did I get here? This is crazy. And I took a snap picture in the dressing room. I remember I was at Academy and I took a picture. And that's like the one picture I always would use for my Transformation Tuesday pictures. And I'd snap that picture because I knew, I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to, stop eating like crappy processed foods and late night pizzas and Taco Bell and Jack in the Box and you name it. I did it all the junk food. And the next day I went and signed up for a gym membership and pretty much the rest is history. But again, it was a long journey. This is years and years and a lot of ups and downs and evolving, right? Like, I don't want to make this sound like it was just a really easy, transformation journey. Though there was a lot of uphill battles and a lot of times where I questioned what I was doing and am I doing it correctly, and food addiction, sugar addiction, and my relationship with food, my relationship with myself and my body. I'm still on that journey. I don't ever plan on going back to that person, but it's a never ending journey. I want people to know that. Like, so many people want to do like a 30-day challenge or a hard 75. And those are all cool. I love those. Those are amazing. But you're in this for the long haul. you're in this for the rest of your life. Like, you don't ever want to go back to that person. And I don't ever want to go back to that same person I used to be. And so it's been a very, very long journey, but that's kind of how it started. Just a big wake up call, got into the gym. And from there, I started to learn how to work out, because I didn't, believe it or not, guys, there was a time where I had no idea how to work out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a clue. So I was just like hopping from machine to machine to machine to machine every single day. And it wasn't until I got a gym partner that he kind of took me under his wing and was like, hey, let me show you how to work out. Let me show you how you structure your workouts. Let me show you how you structure your body parts and your week on what certain days you're going to hit. And so along that journey, I literally, guys, accidentally discovered the ketogenic diet. I was doing the ketogenic diet without even knowing I was doing keto. So my gym partner was very advanced in nutrition. He was my boss at the time, and he was in great shape. And so we would go to the gym at the same time. And he kind of was like, well, come and work in with me. And just, got to know each other, started talking about nutrition. He's like, what are your goals? And I told him what my goals were. And he's like, okay, I'll write you out a plan. You follow it. Absolutely, dude. I'll do it. 100%. Wrote me out this plan, started following it. And holy crap, I started to drop the body fat, started to look great. The abs are showing. My pants are like, I'm having to buy new clothes. And it was all because of the ketogenic diet. And at the time I had a YouTube channel. And so I said, okay, I'm going to document this on YouTube. And people were freaking out, because at the time the ketogenic diet was so new.
Yeah.
And people couldn't wrap their minds around, how can you lose fat by eating fat? It just didn't make sense to them. And so that's kind of how everything started, like with my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and my Goody Beats and all that. And that's kind of how the whole journey started.
Well, that's awesome. Now, how strict did you have to be to get those results? Like, were there times where you took the day off or had a cheat meal, as people call it, or went off the rails? Like, how did that work for you? Was it easy?
When I first started, I was super strict because I was highly, highly motivated, right? There was a certain physique goal that I had in mind that I wanted to achieve. And so I was very, very strict. Now, that being said, that first year and 2 years was very rough mentally, because there were times where I did have a cheat meal, or Thanksgiving came up and I'm so stressed about what my mom or my aunt put in this food. Is it going to knock me out of ketosis? Am I going to get fat again? Oh my gosh, that pecan pie looks so good. Oh my gosh, I would love to have some desserts and enjoy this time with the family, but I can't because I'm on keto. And just this constant battle, like in my mind, right? Don't do it, or it's okay, or you're going to get fat now. And how could you do that? Now I would go punish myself and go have this really long workout and long cardio sessions and be like, I can't believe you did that. Now you got to fast for 24 hours. And just this really awful relationship with food and my body, right? It's like, even though I had accomplished so much as far as how far I've come, but I still had that like really big unhealthy person on the inside.
Yeah.
Thinking like, why did you do this? And so it was very much a roller coaster ride mentally, on being really, really strict. And then, oh my gosh, I fell off and I'm going to lose progress. And now it's all like, or I missed a workout. Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all my gains. And again, obviously none of that is true, guys. Just like one meal is not going to make you healthy. One bad meal is not going to demolish all your achievements and everything you gain. And so, yeah.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because you mentioned earlier when you were explaining your story, you mentioned like sugar addiction and food addiction and things like that. So do you find that you can have one thing at this point in your journey? You can have one thing and it doesn't send you on this roller coaster?
Yeah, absolutely. Like my relationship with food and my overall understanding of dieting, or I don't even call it diet. I don't even call it dieting anymore. It's because this is just the way I eat, right? This is just my new lifestyle. And so during the journey, right, I built up tons of muscle. And so now my body can handle these glucose and these cheat meals a lot better now, right? Because your muscles are like sponges. And so I'm no longer insulin resistant. I'm no longer a type 2 diabetic. So my biomarkers and everything improved. And so those foods, even though they're definitely not the best, right? It's not something I'm doing every day, but if I have them, my body doesn't respond the way it used to when
Mm-hmm.
I was overweight and had all those chronic diseases. Where if I had, a dessert before I started working out, but you best believe in about 30 minutes to an hour, I got to go for a nap.
Yeah.
Or I got to run back to the break room and grab something else through the vending machine to wake up, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get some energy, which
Yeah.
all I was doing to my blood sugar was this
Yes.
up, down, constantly giving it sugar, glucose, and just doing this all day, every day for, most of my adult life after high school and in college. So now I definitely don't think that way. And so whenever I share my story, I want people to understand this, and people that are listening to this, like, if you're someone who is just starting, or maybe you're a year into your health journey, understand that you're not going to be perfect. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really not what you should aim for. You shouldn't aim for being perfect. What you should aim for is trying to get better every single day and being consistent and building on that discipline, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that, hey, it's okay. I had, it was my kid's birthday. I'm gonna have cake with my daughter. Or my daughter wants to go have ice cream. Daddy, go have ice cream. I'm going to enjoy that moment with her. But in the past, the old me probably would have been, oh, I'm sorry, Miha, I can't do that. And missing out on those moments, and missing
Mm-hmm.
out on that time because what? I didn't want to have a scoop of ice cream. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you just, you got to be realistic, take a step back and be like, it's okay because I'm in this for the rest of my life. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to always, as long as I can, I'm going to work out. As long as I can,
Yeah.
eat healthy as long as I can before I'm 90 years old and in a nursing home and then they're feeding me whatever. But as
Mm-hmm.
long as I can, I'm in this for life.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute, about the glucose
Yes.
spikes. When people are sitting at their desk at 10 a.m. because their sugary breakfast is wearing off, and they
They just
start to
had their
feel like,
Starbucks.
yep, feel like you need a nap, you feel like you got to have something, you go get a Snickers bar because it really satisfies. And so your blood sugar has started to drop, and then you eat the Snickers bar, it comes back up, and then you have your carb-filled lunch, ultra processed food lunch, and it starts to drop a couple hours later, and then you need a snack again, back to the snack machine or to the candy jar at work, or your snack drawer. Blood sugar goes back up and then it comes back down. So those spikes and lows are not normal. And that is not how we should be. When you eat the way Logan eats and the way I eat, I'm a carnivore, Logan is low carb. Your blood sugar, like, you might have a couple of little blips in it, like throughout the day. But, for me, it's too much protein or something, or too much cheese, which I do more often than I'd like to admit. And for you, it's, the vegetables or the little bit of fruit that you eat. But this is more normal for
Yeah.
you. And Logan actually has a bio coach, it's called, glucose monitor, that
Yeah.
is glucose and ketone monitor, that's amazing. So let's talk about that for a minute and how that can be used as a tool. Now, do you need one? No, everybody does not have to have a glucose and ketone monitor, but it can really be helpful, especially if you're one of those people that is nodding off several times a day at work, or you get home from work and you need to take a nap. Like, those aren't normal things. That's not how humans
Yeah.
are supposed to be. So how can we use something like a glucose and ketone monitor to help people understand how this works?
Yeah, well, I'm a big believer in having data on yourself. The more
Mhm.
data that you have on you, not some study that you read, not some, whatever, something that you found on the internet that, they tested 10 people and this
Mhm.
happened. No, what is happening to you?
Right.
Like I always say, numbers are simple, people are complicated. Okay, so you need to figure out what's going on in your body, what your biomarkers are. And so the more data you have, the better you can make adjustments and make changes to whatever you're doing. And so having a glucose monitor, one, is super cool to see what is happening to my body from the food that I'm eating. So you get to really see, like, okay, this is what the food that I'm eating is doing to me. And okay, no wonder I'm, like you said, at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, or that 2 o'clock crash where people just want to
Yes.
take a nap at their
Yes.
desk. And you're like, you know what? I did have this, you know, whatever, a Coke and some fries and
Mhm.
whatever sandwich from
Mhm.
Panera Bread. That might be it. What if I eat like Goody Beats, or what if I eat carnivore and see
Mhm.
what
Yep.
happens? And oh my gosh, 2 o'clock came. I wasn't sleepy. Let me check my
Yes.
blood sugar. Oh my gosh, look at the difference. I was at 160 on Tuesday. Here it is Wednesday. I'm eating something different, and my blood sugar is at 90.
That's right. Mhm.
Boom, there you go. And so it's like you wouldn't know that unless you had a tool to tell you what's going on with your body. And so that's something I think is really cool. You know, again, do you need it? No. Did I use a glucose monitor when I first started my fitness journey? No. But I wish I had, because I probably would have reached my goal a lot sooner, and it just would have been cooler to understand and know how food is impacting my body. Is it impacting my body in a positive way or a negative way? And so those are just things to take into account. And, you know, one really cool experiment that I did not too long ago is I went carnivore again recently, and I wanted to test to see, you know, are people that do carnivore in ketosis? Because that's one thing. Like, I come from the keto community, and we and the carnivore community kind of bleed in together. Like, we kind of like, you know, we're kind of like in the same group, but keto people are a little bit different. Like, we care about our ketones, we care about what our carbs are and things like that. And in carnivore, just like, just give me the meat. I could care less if I'm in ketosis. I don't care what my blood sugar is. Like just give me the meat, and that's all I care about. But what I wanted to do the experiment on myself was, are the people that are on carnivore, is one of the reasons why they feel good and they feel great is because they're in ketosis. But they really don't know, because I don't know any carnivore people that check ketones. They just don't. They're not interested in it. And so
I do check sometimes, not as often as I would like, but I do check sometimes. There are a few of us who check. But not as many as keto people, that's for sure.
Yeah. And sure enough, I was constantly in ketosis from doing carnivore. And I'm like, so that's just another reason why people feel so great. This one of the many reasons why people love the carnivore diet, and why, you know, you hear Joe Rogan talk about it all the time. He gets his friends on it, and they're all like, Joe, I have so much energy. I feel so great. I bet you they're probably in ketosis and they don't know. Just one little small, you know, whatever biomarker that I think that they're probably in, why they feel good. But again, that is, you know, something that I'm a big believer in, just getting more data. It's why people track their macros. It's why people track their sleep. It's why people track their steps and their workouts. The more data you have on yourself, the better you can make adjustments and learn from those, you know, from those numbers.
Yeah. And there are people watching this that are going to have the question, is long-term ketosis healthy?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't want to be here and say, oh, it's not healthy or it is healthy. I'll just give my personal experience from it. I have no interest in being in long-term ketosis.
Okay.
It's not something I strive for. And it's not, I will say this, in the beginning when I started, and I was very much like telling you how I had a bad relationship with food. Oh yeah, I needed to be in ketosis 24/7. When I was not in ketosis, what did I do? What did I eat? Oh my God, did that barista not put sugar-free in my coffee? Oh my gosh, what did this knock me out? Is this the wrong thing? I would stress about the dumbest things.
Yeah.
Now I don't, right? So I look at it like this: like, if you're in ketosis, cool, you're going to get benefits from it, but you know, it's not make or break. It's not going to hurt you to not be in ketosis, or to get knocked out, or to be in ketosis 24/7. Like I said, I have evolved a lot since the beginning of my fitness journey. And being knocked out and doing experimenting with more carbs, because again, I come from a bodybuilding background. Like, I wanted to be a bodybuilder, like kind of like my good friend Keto Savage. And so we kind of come from the bodybuilding side of it. And so I kind of want to experiment. Let me try carnivore and see how my bodybuilding career goes. Let me try adding in a little bit carbs before and after. Like, I'm always up to experiment and try different things. But no, I don't think you have to be in ketosis 24/7. No.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's a neat perspective on it. I do try to be in ketosis time. Again, I don't check as often as I should, because I should be checking my glucose too, because I feel like I have a little bit of an issue. Chicken, I eat chicken, I feel like it ends up it does raise my glucose a little bit if I eat too much of it, you know, it doesn't have fat with it, you know, and all of that. So I do like those numbers person. So I do like to see those things, and I like to be in ketosis, and do feel like when I'm, you know, not as deep into ketosis, I'm always like, why? What did I do?
Yeah.
What made that happen? So that's an interesting way of eating look like for you now.
Yeah. So I pretty much have been eating the same way for a really long time. My first meal is always going to be fats and protein. It's just the way I like to start. I don't need carbs because I don't do I don't work out in the morning. I work out at night. And so, and I normally get up and just start working, right? Like I sit up, I'm here at my desk right now. So on my stand-up desk, I'm doing emails, Slack and whatnot. So I'm
Yep.
not really doing much. I don't
Yeah.
need any like a lot of carbs or anything like that. So it's mostly eggs, bacon, eggs and avocado, eggs or chicken. Like it's always eggs and something.
Hmm.
And then my kind of midday afternoon meal will have some fiber in it, some veggies, like it'll normally be chicken, green beans, and avocado. And then my 3 o'clock meal, I do have my meals timed, guys. I know it's
Yes.
the
Mhm.
bodybuilding way. My 3 o'clock meal is my pre-workout meal because I do train at 5. And so
Okay.
typically what I'll have is some either chicken, steak, or fish with about 30 to 40 grams of carbs, which comes out to about 100 grams of rice, maybe.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I have that before my workout. And
Mhm.
then it's the same exact meal post workout. And then my last meal of the night will look exactly like my first meal, just fats and protein before
Okay.
bed. And that's pretty much how I've been eating. Now, is it like that every single day? No,
Mhm.
because weekends come along and me and my girls and my family love to get out of the house
Yeah.
and hang around Austin, hang around, get on, go to San Antonio and just hang
Yeah.
out. But that's pretty much kind of where I kind of hover around, I would say, mostly.
Okay. You have any book recommendations for people?
Well, my good buddy just released his new book with our good friend Cynthia Thurlow,
Hmm.
Chris Irvin,
Okay.
just launched the Carnivore Reset, I
Okay.
believe is
Hmm.
what it's called. So go check it out.
Okay.
Chris is a really good friend of mine.
That's awesome.
He actually worked with BioCoach for a very long time. So yeah, go check the book out.
Okay. And one piece of advice for somebody who is where you were in the beginning and trying to
Yeah.
figure out what to do with their lives and trying to figure out how to get healthy and what foods do they eat? What's one piece of advice you would give to somebody who is trying to figure out what to do?
Yeah, so this is going to be a long answer, but I
Okay.
love this question. I love it because, yeah, I get this all the time. And I just want to tell you, look, you're in this for the long haul. You're not going to get results in a week. You're not going to get results in a month. Okay. This is going to take a long time. I wish I would have told myself, Logan, it took you 8 years to get where you're at now. If you think in 4 weeks you're going to reverse all that, you are greatly mistaken.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing, and that shouldn't discourage you, right? I would say find some like one, incorporate resistance training, incorporate some type of workouts. Now, whatever that may be, whether that's in the morning, the afternoon, at night, find the most convenient time so then it's easier for you to go. If you're not a morning person like myself, then guess what? You're probably not going to have fun working out first thing in the morning before work. And you're probably going to do it for a couple of days and be like, I hate this. And then you're going to stop. So try to find a time to work out that's convenient. That's number one.
Mhm.
Number two, you got to eliminate processed food. You
Yep.
got to cut back on fast food. Okay. You got to start cooking from home. You got to start, you know, food prepping. I know, look, I get it. I'm a dad. I have 2 girls. We got ballet. We got gymnastics. Everybody is busy. But if it's a priority for you to get healthy, then you will do it, right? It's all about people's priorities. If it's not a priority, you're gonna be like, you know what? I'll just stop at Chick-fil-A. I'll just go to In-N-Out and get a bunless burger, which are all like, fine for a little bit. But if you really want to make that commitment, you're really serious about doing what you gotta do, make it a priority and you will get it done. And so this is a really big, long-winded answer, but I just love this because another thing about working out that I see a lot of people struggle with is, Logan, I don't know what to do in the gym. I'm a little
Mhm.
intimidated.
Yeah.
I don't know how these machines work. I feel like everyone's looking at me. Stop. Okay. Nobody cares. Nobody is looking at you. I promise you, it is 2024 and everybody has problems.
Yeah.
Everybody has crazy stuff going on in their lives. You and I were just talking about it before this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I don't remember Joe Schmo from 10 minutes ago,
Yeah.
right? They're not going to remember you,
Mhm.
what you're doing at the gym. So
That's
just
right.
get in there, get comfortable. No one's
Mhm.
staring at you. Nobody cares. No one's watching you. Get in there. And the more you get comfortable, the better you'll get at learning how to do these exercises. But if you're always going to be timid and think people are looking at you and I don't want to go, and it's never going to work out. So get in the gym. And yeah, I would say track your numbers. Find out where's your blood sugar when you wake up first thing in the morning, right? It's always good to know. Maybe if you're doing a low carb, a carnivore diet, see where your ketones are. It's always just good to get data on yourself and figure out where you're at. And so that's kind of my long-winded answer is just, hey, get in there, know that it's going to be you're in this for the long haul. It's going to be a long journey, but I promise you, it is going to be so worth it. When you run into your friends or your aunt or your uncle or someone you haven't seen in a long time, they're like, damn, like, you're looking good. Like, what are you doing? You look great. And you're like, because it's hard. It's hard to see results when you're looking at yourself every day. It was hard. Like, for me, I didn't see the results. It wasn't until I came around my friends or my coworkers and they're just like, man, what's going on with you? Like, man, you're looking great. And I'm like, oh, well, dang, yeah, you're right. Like it's kind of hard to see it, but it's going to be so worth it.
Yeah, and there are no shortcuts. I think that's the big thing is people will say, "Oh, but it's so hard." Well, what you're doing now is hard too. Would you rather it be hard for you to go up the steps and hard because you're sick all the time and hard because you have to go to the doctor all the time and hard because your joints hurt and hard
Yeah.
because you're overweight and you don't feel good and because you feel bad about yourself? Like choose your hard because it's a
Yeah.
lot easier to do something that's hard when there's a favorable or a good outcome afterwards than it is to keep doing the same hard thing over and over again every day and feel like garbage at the same time, right? At
Yeah.
least if you're doing all of these things, you're trying to make yourself better. And that's got to make you feel better than you were feeling yesterday.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Okay, Logan, where can people find you?
Yeah, so check me out. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I'm on YouTube, and everything is Goody Beats. And then also, if you are interested in, find out what your numbers are, but not only that, like, we have an amazing program with Dr. Jamie Seaman, Dr. Fit and Fabulous. She's our chief medical officer here at BioCoach. And so if you guys want to sign up for our BioCoach program, we have tons of content from Jamie and a bunch of our other staff members showing you how to reverse type 2 diabetes, showing you how to cut out sugar, showing you how to do a carnivore diet, showing you how to do a ketogenic diet with coaches on the platform. And it's just an amazing, amazing program. And we also are going to launch our DPP program, which is our diabetes prevention program. As you know, type 2 diabetes is on the rise.
Yeah.
In a couple of years, half of the American population will have it. Adult Americans will have it. Right now, it's at 42%. And again, it doesn't show any signs of slowing down, but we want to stop that. And so if you have any family members, any loved ones that that may benefit from this or may need some help, send them over to BioCoach. We would love to help them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think your whole family can benefit from something like that. And this is a little bit off topic and I was wrapping things up, but you just reminded me. Dr. Shan Baker posted on Instagram yesterday. Did you see it? The video of the overweight mom who is literally having trouble breathing. And she says, plate my 1-year-old's food with me. And it's just one of those videos where you watch her plate her child's food. And it was 3 of those, what are they called? The little round donuts that come out of a bag, like the powdered donuts.
Yeah, yes.
Not Munchkins.
Yes.
Is it Munchkins? But it's the same kind of thing, right?
I forget. Yeah, the
yeah,
powder,
little round.
Everyone just, they're powdered donuts. Yeah.
Yeah, the little mini powdered donuts. And she puts it on a plate and she cuts up 3 of those for her 1-year-old and then puts on one of those little fruit squeezy things. And that was the breakfast for her 1-year-old.
Wow.
Egg is so easy to make. An egg is so easy to make. And 1 egg is going to have 1,000 times the nutrients that those little donuts have. And I think you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing your kids a disservice if you're feeding them breakfast like that. And I know it's hard. Again,
it is hard. Yeah.
Choose your hard.
I want to tell parents this, like, so my girls, I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they freaking love steak. Okay. But it wasn't because I pushed it on them.
Right.
If I pushed it on them, guess what, guys? They wouldn't have eaten it.
That's right.
What the trick was, I would make it on my own, and the smell of it, they would smell the steak and they'd be like, Daddy, the kids are curious at that age, right? So like, Daddy, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm making me a steak. And they're like, oh, okay. Right. And then I would go sit right next to them and eat it and just eat it. And they're like, oh, let me have a piece. And I give them a piece. And then sure enough, they became addicted. And so now I'm almost like my bodybuilder person inside me because I know how much protein I got to eat a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girls, like, you're messing into my protein intake because they love it so much. Like, I'll get the big ribeyes and I used to be able to cut that in half and I can give it to them and share. Now
Yeah.
they're like, Daddy, can we have more steak? And I'm like, girls, literally, like we're out. Like we don't have
Yeah.
any. I need to go to the store. And
You
they're like,
can't have mine. I've
oh,
already
I'm
weighed it.
like, and you can't, yeah. I'm like, you already eaten mine. Like, like they're now diving into my
Yeah,
protein
that's
source. But again, but I love it. But that's
Yeah.
just one tip for parents out there because I
Right.
get that question all the time.
Yeah.
Logan, how do I get my kids to eat meat?
Yep.
How do I get my kids to eat steak? Just make it in front of them and
Yep.
eat it right next to them. Don't say nothing. Don't say, hey, do you want none? Just and if they're curious, they'll get a little piece. And again, well, first of all, and then also learn how to make a good steak so they like it. But one key was they love Redmond's real salt. So I put a lot of Redmond's real salt on the steak and they love it. So now every time I give them food, they're like, Daddy, can I add some salt? I'm like, I already put salt on your eggs, girls. Like, they're like, no, but I just want to do
I
it.
need
And
more.
like, yeah, they want more. So
Yeah. And be the example. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be a ribeye like Logan.
Yeah.
I eat ribeye too. I try to get them on sale whenever I can. But you'd be really surprised at how your grocery bill will go down when you eliminate those processed foods like the donuts and the special squeezy pouch for the kids. Like give that 1-year-old 1 egg for breakfast. They're going to be full and satisfied. They're not going to have as many meltdowns. You know, you can totally save money and still be like keto or carnivore-ish with your kids and be healthier, you know, like, and be the example because that mom, you could hear her breathing, you know what I mean? Like the labored breathing. And she was young. I would say she was in her mid-20s, 30 at the most. She had labored breathing and she was cutting up this donut and it just breaks your heart. People don't know.
Yeah,
I think sometimes people don't know.
It's it's like you said, it's not even that she probably wants to eat healthy. She probably wants to feed her kids healthy food, but she doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
Right. And so it's one of those things that's where you and I come in, right? It's where it's like we come in and we want to help people. We want to help other parents because you know, you have kids, I have kids, and we know how tough it is. Like everyone's busy. I get it. I know it's not easy, but like you said, you got to pick your heart. And I want to be able to play with my girls when you know they're young now, but they're gonna get older and they're gonna play softball and soccer, and I want to be able to go play with them. Like I don't want to be that parent that can't keep up with my kids, and I'm like, and they're like, Daddy, let's play, and I'm like, I literally physically can't. Like I don't want that, and so yeah, you got to do that for your kids. You got to do it for your loved ones, and then also lead by example. You're right. I love that you said that. I take my girls with me as much as I can to the gym, so they can participate with me because they're at that age where they just want to do whatever mommy and daddy are doing.
Yeah.
So if I'm working out, guess what? They want to work out, and I'm like, absolutely, let's go. Like, you know, get in there, do it. Let's go. Pick it up. Pick up that way. Let's go.
That's awesome. So much fun. Yeah, my girls and I, the ones that my 2 girls that still live at home are 15 and 17. And I have never stuck with a workout plan as long as I have for the last like 8 weeks because they've been doing it with me. So even like today, they wanted to go play on the snow. And I was like, I'm okay with it if you guys just want to play in the snow and not lift weights today. And they were like, what? No way. We are not skipping our workout. You know, it's 5 days a week. And the last time I did this workout series with them, I made it to day 12. It's 5 times a week. I made it to day 12 and it took me like 4 weeks to get there. Right. So that should have been like, you know, 2 weeks and 2 days. It took me like 4 weeks to get there. It was awful, you know, and then I just like stopped. But they have made me stick with it. They have made me get it done. I think that's true. You got to be the example. You got to take them with you when you can. You got to do that with them. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay, Logan, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been really great. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. I loved it. Thank you guys.
Okay. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Carnivore Revolution.